Hello grade 9s, welcome to today's video lesson. We're going to be going over the homework solutions for the work that I sent out on the 13th of May. From that worksheet, I asked you guys to please do number 2 and number 5. So before we start, I just want to commend all of you for trying to work during the lockdown. It's not easy to self-study, it takes quite a bit of self-discipline, and it's actually something that would be expected more of varsity kids. The school kids need a school and a classroom, so yeah, well done for trying and acting a little bit beyond your years, I guess. So question 2 says, Mr. Jones needs to paint his house. He wants to calculate how many tins of paint he needs to paint the front of the house, if 1 tin of paint will cover 6 meters squared. To solve the problem, he draws a sketch of his house. The door has dimensions 2 meters by 1.8 meters, and each window has dimensions 3 meters by 1.8 meters. The door and window frames will not be painted. Mr. Jones will need 2 coats of paint on all areas being painted. So this looks like quite a simple house. Mr. Jones seems like quite a simple guy, and hopefully this will help us with simpler calculations. So the first question is, how many square meters will be painted? So this is the front of his house with dimensions 16 meters and 3.8 meters. And the area of the wall to be painted is the area of the front of the house, and then we subtract the area of the door and the areas of the 2 windows. So we can find the areas of each of these things. The area of the front equals to 16 times 3.8, which gives us 60.8, and our unit is meters squared. The area of a window equals 3 times 3.8, sorry, 3 times 1.8. So if it was 3.8, the window would be the same height as the wall. 3 times 1.8 is 5.4. Then the area of a door is 2 times 1.8. Should be 3.6. 3.6 meters squared. So the area of the wall is the area of the front, subtract the area of the door, subtract the area of the 2 windows. Area of wall equals area of front minus 2 times the area of a window, because there are 2 windows, minus the area of the door. Let's put the numbers in. 60.8 minus 2 times 5.4 minus 3.6 equals 46.4, and our unit is meters squared. So this is the area of the wall, and the area to be painted, because he uses 2 coats of paint, the area is going to be double this. So that relates to our next question. How many tins of paint must be bought? So the area to be painted is double the area of the wall, because there are 2 coats. So it's 2 times 46.4. Should be 92.8. Yes, 92.8 meters squared. So each tin of paint covers 6 meters squared. So if you want to find out how many tins we need to see how many times 6 goes into this number. Number of tins is going to be the area to be painted over the area per tin. The area painted is 92.8 and the area covered by each tin is 6 meters squared. So when we do this calculation, we get 15.47. So this is a problem because we have this decimal point, so that means fractions. So essentially you're buying 15.5 tins of paint. So you can't actually do that. You can't actually go to Builders Warehouse and say, can I buy half a tin of paint? So we need to round this number up to 16. So we'll buy 16 liters of paint, 16 tins of paint, and we'll have half a tin left over. If we round it down to 15, then we would have too little paint. So our only option is to round up here. So let's look at the next question, question 5. Okay, question 5, I've redrawn it here on the board. And it says, Paul has designed a herb garden as shown in the figure below. So there are 4 curves around the edges, and they give us this measurement here, diameter D equals 280 centimeters. So if you remember from circles, the diameter goes from one end to the other through the middle. So when we look at this curve over here, it's just half a circle, semicircle. So we've got 4 semicircles and a square in the middle. So 5A, let me read this here. He wants a bricked border to go around the herb garden. What is the length of the border required? So we have to measure the length of each of these curves and add them together. So it's the same curve, it's the same semicircle. Now if you recall, for circles, the circumference is the border length for a full circle, and that has the equation 2 pi r. So a semicircle is going to be half of that. I'm going to call each of these curves C. So the length of C is going to be half the length of the full circumference, and that gives us pi r, because a half times 2 is 1. Now in this equation we need to substitute r, but all we are given is the diameter. So once again, the diameter passes through the middle, and by definition the radius is the line that goes from the middle to the end. So in other words, the diameter is like a radius from the middle to this side plus another radius. So the value of our radius is going to be half the diameter. So the value of our radius is half the diameter. That should be 140 centimeters. So let's substitute that into our equation. 5 times 140 I get 439.82. Okay, so we're not done yet. The perimeter comprises 4 of these curves. So the length of the perimeter is 1759.29. Okay, so that's for 5A. 5B. Paul manages to obtain bricks to form his border. The standard length of a brick is 222 millimeters. Approximately how many bricks will need to be bought in order to edge the herb garden? Sorry, that's a bit of a tongue twister. So he's going to buy bricks and make his border, just laying them next to each other. So 5B. So the length of each brick is 222 millimeters. So I want to first convert this to centimeters because our perimeter is measured in the unit centimeters and I want to get everything the same. So if our unit for the brick length was in millimeters, then to find the unit in centimeters, we just take that and divide it by 10. So you can check on your ruler that 10 millimeters make up 1 centimeter. There are 10 little notches. So 222 millimeters in centimeters will be 22.2. We just divide by 10. Now to find the number of bricks, we need the perimeter length and we're going to divide it by the length of each brick. Okay, so it's similar to the previous question where we were finding how many tins of paint. We found the area of the wall to be painted and then the area covered by each tin of paint, and we saw how many times that went into the area to be painted. So similarly here we've got perimeter and we're going to see how many times the brick length goes in to see how many bricks we need. So the perimeter was 1759.29 and we're dividing it by 22.2 and I get 79.25. Okay, once again I'm going to round this up. We can't buy 0.25 of brick. Okay, next question, C. If the price of 20 bricks is 38 Rand without VAT, how much will Paul pay for the bricks? So this question is a little bit tricky because usually the selling price includes VAT. Let me just think for a second. So usually, like if you go to any shop and you check the slip, you'll see that the price includes VAT. So I'm guessing that the retail price for this would also need to include VAT. So VAT is usually at 15%. So to include VAT, we take our original price, which is 38 Rand, and we times it by 115 over 100. Okay, so this 15 comes from that 15 over there. So this is percentage increase. 38 times 115 over 100, and I get 43.7. Okay, so this is the cost for 20 bricks. In the previous question, we said we needed 80 bricks. So we need 4 lots of 20, 40, 60, 80. So we would have to multiply this by 4 as well. So the cost for 80 bricks is equal to 4 times the cost for 20 bricks, which equals to 4 times 43.7. I get 174.8. Okay, so that concludes this lesson. For homework, I'm going to ask you guys to do the remainder of this worksheet, and I'll make another video lesson for those solutions. Please try and do them before checking the video, and after we're done with this worksheet, we'll move on to the next section, which is volume. So yeah, thanks guys. If you have any questions, please ask on the group, and have a good rest of the day.